is the Logitech G Cloud, and it's a handheld gaming device that is completely powered by the cloud. Now, you might be wondering what exactly the cloud is. Well, I can show you, but then you have to keep. Oh! Just kidding. That's just my refrigerator. You can think of the cloud kind of like Netflix or Hulu. It's on-demand streaming, but for games. And the most interesting part about cloud gaming is how minimal it is. It's 2024, and in a world now where everyone wants the best of the best in terms of tech and specs, cloud gaming literally has little to nothing to do in terms of tech and specs. No fancy GPU and no fancy CPU. So when I saw all the positive ratings on Logitech's new cloud gaming handheld console, I definitely want to give cloud gaming a try. So I went to Best Buy and picked one up so I could test it. When I got back, unboxing was literally so simple, I thought something was missing. So while I'm getting everything out of the box, I also wanted to quickly thank ExitLag for sponsoring this video. Anyways, for the device, there's nothing crazy to take note of. Even the specs on the box aren't impressive. There's just a 7-inch, 1080p, 60 Hz IPS touchscreen with Wi-Fi. And when I initially opened the box, just by getting my hands on the device, I instantly had a strong first impression. Speaking of first impressions, if you've never heard of ExitLag before, it's a software powered by AI that optimizes and strengthens your internet connection when you're gaming. But back to the G Cloud, things already weren't looking good. I wasn't expecting much for $300, but it did feel noticeably cheap. I personally didn't like the layout, and most importantly, there were no back paddles. In my opinion, back paddles should always be an option now for any controller layout, especially with how demanding controller gameplay has gotten. By the way, if you do happen to play more demanding PC games, ExitLag also optimizes your settings for you, which will increase your FPS and maximize your performance. My first initial impressions of the G Cloud already had me feeling nervous to try it, but if you're nervous to try ExitLag, you can actually try 3 days free to optimize your connection, latency, and performance. ExitLag works with over 2,000 games, and all you need to do is create an account, download the software, and by using AI, you are literally 100% guaranteed a better quality of gameplay. You can try ExitLag today by clicking my link in the description, because everything you see is what you're gonna get. And especially for the G Cloud in this case, because the only other thing that came in the box was the charging cable. So I decided to spend the rest of the day testing it, and I'm gonna be honest, there's good news and there's bad news. So let's start with the good news. For cloud gaming, there is no waiting at all for any game available to stream. It takes about a minute max to load, and you can play whatever game you want instantly. Okay, that's all of the good news. From the second I turned on the G Cloud, it just never felt like a console to me. And that's because it's not. It's literally an Android. It's not really marketed as one, but as soon as you turn it on for the first time, you literally get hit in the face with an Android setup, and it prompts you to sync your Google account and settings, like you're setting up an Android device. Now, it's not that I have a problem with Androids, because they've actually gotten quite better these past few years in terms of evolution. But this is literally just an Android tablet with, I think, a Logitech UI integrated to run cloud games. For example, the startup menu is basically where you can launch and stream all of the games, but you can find and do all the things any Android device can do. There's a Play Store, pre-installed Android lifestyle apps, and even an Android internet browser. And if this doesn't make sense to you why this is a big red flag, this basically means that nothing makes the G Cloud more important than an Android device. And if you don't believe me, there was literally an option during the initial setup for you to change the UI from Android tablet mode to handheld gamer mode. But let's look past the whole Android situation. Besides, it wouldn't really even matter if it was a solid device. But after realizing how everything actually works, things get interesting. So to stream games with the G Cloud, Logitech states that you need a subscription to a cloud streaming service which is sold separately. And there's 3 options: Xbox Game Pass, GeForce Now, or Shadow PC. The video was kind enough to let me try their ultimate subscription of GeForce Now, which is their highest tier of cloud service, but here's where things get tricky. You can browse the library for any game you want to play, but when it comes time to launch and stream the selected game, you actually have to own it, meaning you either have to buy the game to launch on Steam or have the game in your library by buying Xbox Game Pass. I didn't have Xbox Game Pass, and I definitely didn't own or want to buy any of the games available to stream on Steam just to try. So I was stuck with Fortnite, which is free, and Cyberpunk, which I did happen to own on the same Epic Games account. And if you think about it, Xbox Game Pass is definitely going to be your best option in terms of streaming cloud games, because with GeForce Now and probably Shadow PC, you're going to have to own the games that you stream through another launcher, which is like a rabbit hole of expenses just to play a game that you're not really playing. But let me backtrack. Before we even get to the games, just be warned, because things aren't perfect. I ran into a bug where I had trouble initiating the game launch in itself a few times, and maybe some other annoying things I can't really remember, but I guess for $300 and for one of the cheapest consoles on the market, I feel more against complaining. But actually testing the gaming experience made me regret even trying the handheld to begin with. For starters, just like I thought, the input delay was diabolical. It's definitely worse than any console I've ever played on, and like I said before, not having back paddles just ruined everything. There's also no input or output solution, so you can't plug in and use your own controller. 60 Hz is also something I feel like should just be done away with now. It just doesn't make sense for any action games to be running at 60 frames per second. The gameplay felt really laggy in my opinion, since I'm used to 240 Hz, and I felt ridiculously handicapped when playing. But also, remembering that this is only a $300 device, I am open to seeing it as more of a casual solution to gaming, but it's definitely not for me. So, in my conclusion, and in my honest opinion, I think that the Logitech G Cloud is just a $300 waste of money for literally a bottleneck of a better gaming experience that you could have if you literally just spend the extra money on a console or a PC. So yeah, I'm super glad I got to show you guys the cloud today, but also it's kind of a lose-lose situation because I actually